fitness and psychology tip of the day, they go hand in hand. You guys know I have my degrees in psychology, and so a big part of my role as a coach and as somebody that is in fitness and helps people with their journeys is talking a lot about your psychology, your mindset. And one of my clients brought up to me this morning how she had meal prepped many times before, prior years before we had met up. And one of the things she struggled with was how boring the food was, knowing that she was going to go and eat the same food, and that wasn't something she looked forward to, that it wasn't something joyous. And so one way to break it down and to help people to move forward is I give them examples of what to do instead. So we know that the food is going to be the same, and we know that we have some variety. There's a lot of different kinds of proteins, but you do have to eat protein, your good carbs, your fats. So we know that for sure. That is not going to change. You can change how you cook. You can use different condiments. You can change the proteins, but basically you are going to be eating the same food for your lifespan. And so what we're looking for when we're excited about food is we're looking for some dopamine. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical that we release, and it makes us happy. It's something that makes us look forward to something. It's something that makes us happy. Dopamine is something that we seek. It's the high of getting something that we like and looking forward to something, doing something new. So when your dopamine is linked to food, and you need to have food to get that dopamine, to get that high, because you're used to it. We're in a culture where society is, let's go out to eat, let's go grab dinner, let's go grab drinks. And you're not so fun when you say, well, I'm on a meal plan and I have a goal and I can't eat whatever and I can't drink alcohol. And so we're bored, right? We don't have that dopamine rush of, oh, this food tastes so good, my taste buds. But this is what you can do. You can do new things. So whenever people tell me things like that, my response usually goes a little like, how about every week you try, I love coffee, you try a new coffee shop. And how about this week you try a new flavor sauce, or you go to a movie, or you go on a date with your significant other. Or if you don't have a significant other, why don't you take yourself on a date, somewhere fun, something you've never done before. That is going to release dopamine. And it's not going to be related to food. It's going to fill that urge that you have to seek dopamine. So if you start to learn these psychology hacks that really go hand in hand with everything you do in life, not just food. If you start to learn your cues, I'm bored, I want to eat something, or I want something sweet, and you start to break it down into, am I bored? Am I just looking for dopamine? Am I just trying to find something in the moment? Then you can stop yourself before you do something impulsive, and you sit and think, and you really think about what you want. You want dopamine. How do you get dopamine? Well, you can get dopamine, and you can release dopamine doing things you love. Go take your kids out, go on little fun dates, go somewhere new. That will release the dopamine for you. Dopamine is one of the hugest addictions that I see that people are looking for. Everybody's always looking for more. And it's an issue. It's a problem that we have in society, because if you just go impulsively find that dopamine, you usually are not going to get to your goals. And you have to have some discipline and some self-awareness and self-control to stop yourself before you go through with that action. Otherwise, you're going to be continuing the cycle, and you're going to be thinking, I want to always get better, and I want to be on a diet. I diet in this and that and this. It's a cycle. And until you learn what your triggers are and how to fix that trigger, you're going to continue to make the same issue and the same mistake, and you're going to continue to stay stagnant because you're never going to reach the threshold. And the threshold for a lot of fitness is you do have to diet to see changes, and you have to be on that diet for a consistent amount of time. And it doesn't have to be boring, but you also don't have to seek your dopamine through food. Seeking dopamine by eating is something that gets people in a lot of trouble, and it leads to a lot of issues in the future. As you guys know, most of America is obese and overweight. And we're just used to, I want it, I get it. I crave it, I eat it. And it's an issue. It's a big problem. So the next time that you have these kind of urges, sit back and think, reflect on it, and try to remember, all that we are as humans is our brain is an amazing little computer, and it's just releasing signals. We're releasing signals, neurotransmitters, and these signals mean something. Now, we use them as representations of other things, and we have, behaviors that we create that are not always the healthiest. And the way to break them is to start to first become aware of them, and then secondly, find new things that you can do to release those chemicals. You want dopamine, or you want oxytocin, you want a bond. You have to find ways to release those chemicals. There's many other ways, and they don't have to involve behaviors that are going to set you back from your goal.